Create our first structural members of our Weldment part. Download SOLIDWORKS content for Weldment profiles. So before we get started using Weldments to build our tower design, what we want to do is we want to add some additional profiles, some additional Weldment profiles to this. SOLIDWORKS doesn't start us out with a lot of profiles, and we're going to go ahead and add to that. So let's look at this. So I'm going to have you dig around and have you take a look at this. What we have in here is our My File structure of where we're going to find Weldment profiles. And mine's under a different partition drive. I have a D drive that I've reserved strictly for programs. And within that is a folder called Design. I have my folder called SOLIDWORKS, and this is where SOLIDWORKS is loaded. So wherever your folder might be, you're going to be looking for that SOLIDWORKS folder. And I have SOLIDWORKS 2016. You might have a different version. Under that is going to be another folder called SOLIDWORKS. Under that is going to be Language, English. You might have a different language in there. There's a number of different options that you could choose from. Now we have Weldment profiles. If you look inside this folder in here, we have two different standards. We have the American Standard, ANSI, and then we have the ISO standard, the International Standard in here. And inside of these are a number of different profiles that we could choose from. We're going to be primarily considering, with our Weldment design of our tower, we're going to be using angle iron, or L-angle as it might be called later. And inside of that are only 3 different profiles, plus a configurable profile in here too. So this is a 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/8 of an inch, or 2 inch by 1/8 of an inch, and then we have a 1/4 inch profile. Not a lot to choose from. We're going to actually choose for our main tower leg. It's actually going to be a 4 inch by 1/4 inch profile. So we do want to get a little bit more, and SOLIDWORKS does provide us the mechanism to the content to be able to download from the SOLIDWORKS website to be able to enhance this. So the reason I'm showing this is that we're going to be coming back to this folder location. We're going to download a zip file into this, and we're going to go ahead and extract it in this folder, and then we're going to go ahead and make that part of our Weldment library. So let's pull that aside and let's take a look at SOLIDWORKS here a little bit. So we have SOLIDWORKS open right now. If you don't, let's go ahead and open that up real quick. If we go over here to the right-hand side to our task pane, go over here to this button called Design Library. Let's go ahead and open this up a little bit and explore this a little bit. If we go to the very top, this is our design library. The design library is nothing more than a bunch of folder locations that are defined inside of SOLIDWORKS under our options menu up here. And we have in here our SOLIDWORKS profiles. So if we take a look at this, you can see the very same profiles we had before. If you go inside of ANSI inch, go inside of angle iron, you can see our 1 inch by 1 inch, 2 inch by 2 inch, our 3 inch by 1/4 inch profiles in here, plus that configurable profile in here too. So that's available, and again, we're going to go and enhance that. And where you find that is we go a little bit deeper down in our design library down here, and we're going to go to the SOLIDWORKS content. If we open that up, yours may not open right away, but if you go ahead and click on that triangle over here that opens up that, it accesses the SOLIDWORKS website and gives us the capacity to download additional content. What we want to do is we want to go down to the Weldments folder, and we want to choose the appropriate zip file. All these are zip files in here with different standards, world standards in here, and we're going to stick with the ANSI inch. And if you hover your mouse over that, what it does is it suggests to you that if you want to download that, then you need to left click on it with the control key to press on the keyboard. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Control key to press, left click on that, and we're going to go ahead and choose a folder location for that. So I'm going to start from the very top, and we're going to dig through this a little bit. I'm going to go through the same folder location that I showed you before. Mine's under Design. I'm going to be choosing SOLIDWORKS 2016. You might choose the SOLIDWORKS folder that's in there. Now we're looking for language. So mine's going to be English. So you might you have a number of different choices in here if English is not your primary language. But we're going to go ahead and open up that, and we're going to go to the Weldment profiles. So now we see those folders again. We have ANSI inch and ISO standard, but you want to make sure that you click on the Weldment profiles here so that down here when it says folder, it doesn't say SOLIDWORKS 2016. You want to make sure it does say Weldment profiles. That way we can find it later. If you go to OK, now it's going to download that folder for us in the Weldment's profile folder that we chose. Now if we go to that folder location, you can see that we have that zip folder named ANSI inch.zip. Okay, so now that we have that zip folder in place, what we're going to do is we're going to extract it. The way you do that in Windows is if you right-click on our ANSI inch zip folder, we're going to go to Extract All. Typically, it goes to the same default folder that it's in right now, but we can change that. One thing we are going to change on it, though, we're going to keep the same folder location, but we're going to call it ANSI Inch 2016. Right now, it says ANSI Inch, even though it's all capitalized, or most of it's capitalized. Windows is going to consider that to be the same folder over here too, and it's going to go ahead and put it in that folder. And I don't know if we necessarily want to mix the content here. I like to keep it separate. So we're going to call that ANSI Inch 2016. So space 2016, and then we're going to go to Extract. So when we do that, it creates that new folder in here, ANSI Inch 2016. If we were to double click on it, you can see that it, it's just part of the quirk in regard to, zip folders. It has yet another folder with the original default name on that folder. It has kind of a subfolder to the folder we're trying to extract into. But if we were to double click on that, now you can see the content being populated in here. We have a number of different elements in here that could be used for Weldment profiles. There's a really big library in here. I think it's over 2,100 elements in here. Even though we're only going to be using a couple of them, we're going to go ahead and extract all of this in order to get the appropriate content that we need. So when it's all done, and there it goes, it's all done, we're going to go ahead and close this. We're going to go back in this folder. We want to make sure that we're choosing the right folder up here. We want to get rid of that subfolder in here. So we're going to go ahead and double click on that. We're going to go to Control A. Control A in Windows allows us to select everything, all. Then we're going to do Control X, allows us to cut all. Then we're going to go back to this folder over here and we do Control V. That kind of eliminates that layer in there. Now we have ANSI Inch in here. This is an empty folder. So we're going to take that. It's a little bit redundant. Don't really need it. We're going to go ahead and delete that. If we go back to our original folder up here, now we have our ANSI Inch with our original profiles in here. We have our ANSI Inch 2016 with the new profiles that we're going to be using. And then we have our ISO folder, and then we have our zip folder. It's up to you if you want to delete that zip folder. It's kind of redundant now. It's kind of in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that here. So let's get this folder out of the way and back to SOLIDWORKS, which ends this clip. So please join me in the next one where we will add our first Weldment structural member for the outer leg using one of the new Weldment profiles that we just downloaded.